Let's turn to the other issue here. Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton unveiling a new education proposal today. It's a $350 billion plan aimed at making college more affordable. Okay, now she's announcing the proposal called New College Compact in New Hampshire. That's the state with the highest average student debt in the country, by the way. Question is, will it turn the conversation away from the private email controversy that's been following her along the campaign trail? All right, let's get into this. Joining me now, our political panel, Fred Barnes from the Weekly Standard and Democratic strategist Rich Goodstein. But first, let's get the details on the plan from our very own Blake Burman in D.C. Blake, what exactly is Hillary Clinton proposing?
Well, Ashley, Hillary Clinton says costs won't be a barrier under her college affordability plan. That's the way they're propositioning this. What she's proposing would essentially replace loans with grants by incentivizing states and schools to participate in and there's a couple major points from her plan. Here's two. Students would be able to attend an in-state four-year public university without having to take out a loan for tuition. Also, those with current student loans that might be too high, they would be able to refinance that loan. The price tag here, $350 billion out over 10 years, but Clinton says that would be offset by capping itemized tax deductions for wealthy families. That's reportedly at 28%. Ashley?
So, Blake, what are the presidential candidates saying about this?
Well, the criticism here is this is asking the wealthy to pay for yet another government program. Republican presidential contenders Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio have also called this a tax increase, since those wealthier taxpayers would be the ones footing the bill. Bush called it, and I'm quoting here, an irresponsible proposal, while Rubio says this plan would continue to pour money into a system that's broken and needs to be updated. Ashley.
As you would expect on those comments, yes. Let's bring in Fred Barnes. Fred, is this just an attempt by Hillary Clinton to get more votes from millennials?
Well, of course it is. And look, the important thing here is that Hillary has a college plan to help out college students and their parents. Doesn't make any difference what's in it, even though what's in it is very, very complicated. And, you know, states have to spend more. The federal government spends more. Let's see, colleges cut spending. If you're a student, if you take a certain type of job, well, then you can use some of the money you get. You know, it's extremely complicated, very much like her unworkable capital gains reform plan. But in any case, look, like Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton now has a college plan.
Yeah, she's got a plan. Let's bring in Rich. Rich, what do you think? I mean, obviously the criticism from the GOP, we knew they were going to say that, but is this just an attempt to get some voters from the young voters out there? I mean, you know, it's an awfully high price tag and putting it on the back of the rich.
Well, so remember, Ashley, that autopsy that the Republicans did 2 or 3 years ago, where they said Republicans need to do a better job as to Hispanics. Well, that doesn't seem to be a message that's being communicated with all the talk about walls. They need to do a better job with women. Well, that's not coming across too well between what Donald Trump's saying, with all this talk about no abortion under any circumstances, and the youth. Well, you asked, is she going to be going for the votes of the young? Well, I hope so, because the fact of it is, college student loan debt is a huge burden for people 30 and under. 57% of them say it's kind of a life-changing decision. That's why you have so many students going back and living with their parents, frankly, not being able to start new businesses because they've got this debt overhanging them. It's a pretty inspired way for her to basically give opportunities for students and, frankly, force colleges to kind of not have these diploma mills anymore. Parents have to kick in something. States actually have to help out. The federal government's going to have a role. So actually, I think you're getting a lot of parties in here buying into something. Is it a burden on the rich? You're capping itemized deductions for the people in the absolute upper brackets. I mean, look, anything that she does that involves any tweak in the tax code that hits the rich is going to be seen as soaking the rich. I guarantee you those people at the top won't even feel it.
All right.
Okay.
Fred, respond to that.
Look, the point is that it is an extremely complicated plan. You need all these different parts to work. You could do this simply. Why not just provide a refundable tax credit for students or their parents? That would work simply. The money wouldn't go to colleges, so they could just spend more of it the way they have in the past and raise tuition. Give the money directly to students and their families, and leave it at that. That would help it. You wouldn't have to propose a tax increase that will never pass anyway.
That's a good point. Rich, how much responsibility do the colleges, the universities bear for the situation we're in? Shouldn't they be held more accountable for the ballooning administrative costs that they're incurring and passing on to students? I mean, at some point, aren't they culpable in all of this?
I think that's an excellent question, and that's frankly the answer to Fred's suggestion. Fred's might work in some quarters, but giving that tax credit does nothing to basically tighten things up with colleges. Yes, I think a lot of them are getting away with murder. Certainly, you see that the costs are going up in ways that way outstrip inflation, and I think that's exactly the beauty. One of the beauties of Hillary's plan is that she says we're going to kind of titrate the benefits to colleges only if they produce students that actually get degrees, and if they, so it's actually, again, think about those diploma mills where kids take out these ridiculous loans for colleges and graduate school, and they can never repay them, and they never get degrees out of it. It's crazy. This actually tackles that.
Blake, I want to come back to you very quickly. On the GOP side, do we have any of the candidates that have outlined some sort of plan in detail like this with regard to education?
Well, Marco Rubio, who I just mentioned a little while ago, talked about how he wants to just transform the system in general. One of the questions is, these colleges, this is a system that's been in place for decades, if not longer than that. Do you need to take on loans or the system? Rubio's been talking about that. It's something we'll see from here on out too, Ashley.
Very good. Blake, Fred, and Rich, time already out. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ashley.
We appreciate it.